So I had this epiphany, Megan, when I was thinking about our conversation, and I call Andre El Jefe, but I didn't have a nickname for you, and I decided it's going to be Coach.
Mm,
And I think this is relevant to our conversation, the rest of our conversation, because we definitely, as a culture, CoLAB, we have a team atmosphere.
hmm
And I'm curious, from one D1 athlete to the other, was it intentional to have that kind of culture? Because there's swing coaches, there's individuals, but like the analogy I use is like my coach in college, Coach Bruce Parkhill, my guy, he always put us in a situation where if we took the tools that he provided for us, we would succeed. And that's what I see from the culture that you guys have created. Was that intentional?
Yeah, it definitely was intentional. It more so when the first company I worked at for 8 years, I think was such a shock to my system as, this 23-year-old 24-year-old who had her whole life had coaches and people that were on your team. And I got into this environment that there was no coaching. There was not even a company meeting where everyone was present. So there was a lot of infighting. And the way people treated one another was so different than what I was used to that when once I was able to leave there and start my own, I had to really think about how I wanted the people to interact, in our company, the first one I created. And number one, we started having, weekly team meetings and figuring out what each person's goals were and tying the goals of the team to rewards, right? Like all the things that happen when you're in athletics, but in a different way, right? Because in athletics, you have something you're reaching for, an achievement. And so people's individual goals, I think, in their careers is that achievement. Some of it's monetary, some of it's like, work-life balance, right? It could be. So you have to figure out what each person's goals are and then start fitting your team culture around that.
Yeah, because not everybody has the same strengths and not everybody has the same goals. On a team going back again to the analogy, we had guys that could shoot the rock. We had guys that could defend, and coach would just provide us with the tools we needed to give it. And it didn't you had to be, and just like in our business and what you're doing now is you kind of have to be accountable to yourself.
Yep.
um, there is on our side this entrepreneur. It's not just for anybody. You have to be a little bit entrepreneurial. Loan officers are their own business, whether they know it or not. Usually, you figure that out once you're in the business for a while that you're essentially creating your own company. But you have provided tools, and like I've been the individual. I've worked for the banks. I've been maybe even a duo, but the team
hmm
thing is very strong with it. So I thank you for that.